people. So thank you for your patience.
We converted to Zoom too, by the way. If you notice, we had Zoom before, but we were using, oh, really? On this call? We were using Google Meet, but everybody's a little more Zoom friendly. So I have to figure out how to share my screen on Zoom though.
It's just that down I'll set you up too, so you can do it here.
I've done it before. It's got me navigation there since I did it last. Wow, it's showing right now, Joe. Just a quick shout out if anybody can hear my voice. A shout out of there's a few folks on the line. I won't out you, but there's a few names I haven't heard in many years. Send a special aloha out there. Let's put it that way. How work you, Joe? Okay. Be a panelist. Join as a panelist, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. I am a panelist. I'm feeling validated. Ray, are you out there? Can you hear me okay, partner? Can't hear Ray. But
Is he muted?
Asked to unmute.
Oh, there is.
They have it set up so you can't see the other people.
Can you hear us, Ray, or can you not hear us?
he can hear us, but I don't think he can speak. So
Let's see here. Asked to unmute. There you go, Ray.
Try that one. Can you hear us now, Ray? All right, can you?
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
All right.
Just for the record, Ray, you are one of the many people who have requested that we switch to the Zoom format. I'm completely fine with that. This is the first time we've tested it in a group environment for.
I thought I was fine with it, but I'm not so sure now.
Can you hear it?
We are very Zoom friendly, but this is the first one that we just converted over from Google Meet. Everybody's got their favorite platforms. I was kind of pro Zoom in a previous life, and then we went to Google Meet. Google does that thing where they build a nice warm bath of sweet products that play well together in the same.
Leave the Zoom.
I prefer Zoom, but
when you open it up next time, it gives you the option to check your mic and your speakers.
I'm trying to see participants. How many? We've got 55 in the room. Well, there's about 55 missing. Shame on them.
I think we may want to give it a minute or two for technical reasons, but I think we've been able to increase the bandwidth here, so we should be able to get pretty good coverage.
So right now, just with the volume of people, if you have a comment or a question, there's down in the navigation, there's a Q&A, a little question mark in a box. You can click that if you got kind of a question. And then there's a chat, and so you can chat in there. We can unmute people as needed, but just in order to kind of corral the chaos a little bit, we've got it structured this way so that everyone's muted off the bat. But happy to the chat's disabled. Thank you.
You can change the mic or turn up the mic.
We'll give everybody a minute or two.
Thank you, everyone. We've just been informed that the chat's disabled, so we're going to figure that out here while waiting for a few people to join still. Okay?
There we go. Does that work now? Okay, excellent. Great. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, everybody. Glad you showed up here today. I was thinking about some things. Can you hear me all right, guys?
Yes.
Yes, Ray.
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
You know, the year was 2002, probably a little bit prior to 2002 when the company Zango was born. I actually remember a beautiful little video. Many of you on the calls will remember this. It was a fantastically well done video of Joe Martin. We're looking at Joe here. He was in Southeast Asia when he discovered the mangosteen fruit. I can still see Joe tasting this mangosteen and introducing that to all of us that had joined the company Zango. And
you know, the Zango company, we went on to be, you know, the poster child for the way a network marketing business should be for about 15 years. It was the best 15 years of my life, without a doubt. I love these two brothers. I've known them. I joke, but it's almost not a joke. I've I've known them since prior to their shaving, you know. So I've known them a long time. I trust them completely, and I'll say to all of you on the call here, many of you probably, maybe you're not looking for a business, but you're certainly in the wellness industry. That's why you're on this call. Um, if you are looking for a business, you'd be hard pressed to find a better one that's about to take place that you're going to learn about today. It's rather fascinating. But back to my story. Joe is in Southeast Asia. He discovers the mangosteen fruit, and the rest is history, okay? And his brother, my good friend Gordon, now he's many years later, what, about 8 years, thereabouts, or 6 or 7. Anyway, it happened a little while ago. He's over in another foreign land, Italy, not so far away, spending about 3 months out of the year in the farmlands of the area of Tuscany, beautiful part of the world. And he's kind of discovered something that he's going to bring here and share with you today. And well, in my life, folks, I'm not a young guy. I've been around a long time. I've been in this industry 40 years, and I've had 4 pretty major successes in this industry, but none of them was as successful as the Zango Corporation for the 15 years that I was there. Time of my life, and I think the brass ring has come around one more time. Joe discovers this unique product over in Southeast Asia. His brother Gordon discovers this unique product while he's spending part of his life in Italy. You're about to get a unique story today. I promise you this. I don't let me imagine if I can. You're probably like me if you're in the wellness industry. Every morning, I've got a handful. I mean, just a handful of vitamins and minerals and things that I have decided over my lifetime that I need to be taking. So, very little science. I was certainly impressed with what I heard about them, so I just add them to the regimen. And it becomes quite a pile, and I can get full before I even start my breakfast because it takes me a while just to ingest all of them. Here's what I believe about what you're going to learn today. When there's a pile, your pile might not be near as big after you learn some things today, but in the mornings or in the evenings, whatever it is you take for good health, the first thing you're going to grab out of that pile is going to be what you're going to learn about today. So I think it's kind of unique. Joe discovers the mangosteen fruit in Southeast Asia. His brother Gordon discovers this while he's in Italy. And as I said, I'm not a young guy. I think about such things in my life. Looking back, I often ask the question, was it odd or was it God? I choose to believe, me personally. It's maybe a God thing. I'm so elated I can hardly sleep at night knowing what's about to take place. I promise you we're going to create history again. This one has the possibility, and I think the probability, of being even bigger than Zango was in the past. You couldn't trust your future to people that are any better than these 2 brothers. And by the way, I'm not leaving Curtis out, and I'm not leaving out Ashley. I love the management team, and there's more that you can't see. This is going to be a unique business that you're going to get to preview today. You're going to preview a product that I promise you, it's been right before our eyes our entire life. Just never knew it was good for us. We didn't know how good it was for us. How would you like to learn about a product today that comes from the blue zones of the world? If you know anything about the blue zones, people live an average 9 to 10 years longer than they do anywhere else in the world. Am I saying this product is going to help you live 9 to 10 years longer? I might be, but I'll take a few liberties since we haven't opened the doors yet.
Gives you a great chance at a good life and good health. And I can't wait for Gordon and the crew to start sharing it with you. No pressure, Gordon. Take it away, brother.
You're the best, Ray. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no pressure. Thanks for that build up. You're the best. Look at that background you have there, that lush background in Sutton's Bay. No, Ray's one of my good buddies for many years. We've been in this industry together, and he always had that kind of running discussion about if you ever do anything, please give me a call first. And so I did that in a previous life, and I did that a few weeks ago, and that led us to here. this idea seems to be gathering some steam right now. I tried to say, hey, let's just limit it to 10 people talking to originally, and it kind of got to this point. But I'm going to try. I'm going to say that one thing that everybody knows could go bad, and that is I'm going to try to share my screen here. Share. And desktop. How about that, Curtis? Desktop, and then allow.
I love that you have guitar up there.
Is a guitar? Has my icon? Okay. You're sharing. Okay. My screen sharing? Am I sharing?
Yeah, so go to your. Yeah.
All right. Okay, good. So let's do this. Perfect. You're there? Okay. Eccolo qua. All right. I'll start out with just a little quote. Italy's the only place where language is a melody, food is an art, and the land itself is poetry. Pretty high praise, I think. Clearly, I'm a hometown fan because mia mamma era italiana. But okay, I will tell you, they do have its limitations. Their government's pretty plugged up, but they're really good at a couple of things. Very good, and that is they've elevated food and quality of food to an art form. I like to riff about this. I'm a big fan of the world of commerce, but I am pretty happy with the fact that Italy just does not allow Monsanto or genetically modified grains, and they ban things like artificial colors and artificial flavors, and they've elevated food to a completely different level. So there was a couple years ago, as Ray alluded, Ray's got a pretty good handle on how this whole thing went down. The hardest thing to see is kind of what's right in front of your eyes. And we're going to talk about something here that is familiar and yet new. And to the point where many of us are going to have that moment where we say, duh. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, duh. I can't believe we've never paid more attention to this thing until now. And this is the type of thing that you can't just put out there and let some minimum wage clerk at GNC try to educate humanity about. It just won't happen. I happen to know a few people that are buzz agents about things in health and nutrition that I think they might be up to shouldering this burden of education. So really quick introductions here. Me, I'm Gordon. Io mi chiamo Gordon Angelo Morton. Okay. Most people here, I'm Gordon. Over in Italy, many times I'm Angelo because I have an unpronounceable Italian name. Gordon it has to end in a vowel mostly in Italy. So they're just Gordone. It's just a tongue twister. So over there, I'm mostly Angelo. That's my name. So Curtis is my very talented partner here that helped kick things off. He is our president and CIO. That stands for Chief Information Officer. I haven't even run that by Kurt. Are you okay with the CIO?
Sure.
All right, I'm just making sure.
Why not?
I put titles on for today's presentation. It says, yesterday it still said, Gordon, it's me. And then Joe, it's him. But Curtis is in charge of everything zeros and ones related. He's very pragmatic. And he has a rich history in e-commerce, going back to the late 1990s, early 2000s, when he championed a little area of the commerce known as e-commerce and specifically affiliate marketing. Back before we were calling it affiliate marketing, I think, right? So that period in America, if you can remember then, when all those crazy dot bombs came up and down, Curtis relocated to New York City and built a name for himself out there, built several companies. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's got the same addiction as a few of us in this room. It's an affliction. Next to Curtis is Ashley Brown. I love this young lady. She's amazing. Who said love on a conference call? We're allowed to do that. Ashley has been, I've worked and known Ashley for 19 years. Did we decide 19? 19. You're going to look at Ashley here on the screen and say, that's not possible. Was she 4? Well, that's part of Ashley's secret. She is very youthful looking. You'll hear her talk about skincare in a little bit. Job title. See that? I put you in charge of web dev since you have to do that anyway. Joe, this is my mio fratellino. In Italian, that means my little brother, Giuseppe. Mio fratellino. Joe. It said up until yesterday, underneath his title, it said, it's Joe. And I only say that because anybody that knows my little brother knows that if you if you could run, bike, or swim somewhere, that's Joe's his preferred method of transportation. He's currently nursing a injury to his meniscus. Yes, I learned that word because of this. Because he got injured in a hockey game 3 weeks ago. First of all, anybody that plays hockey knows that it's a hard sport to play in your teens. It's a ridiculous hard sport to play when you're in your 50s. So Joe, you'll hear from him later. We do have, this is the sales elimination slide. I point that out. And there are 2 new people to be TBA as of this morning. And that'll be announced. They're currently under contract, but I'm a good salesman. So let's go forward here. Here's where everything starts. Ray alluded to the fact that I was in an area of the world, in Italy, in Tuscany, several years ago, and had what I call a moment of epiphany. Now, I was raised in a health and nutrition environment by herbal gerbil parents. My mom was an Italian immigrant. I was pretty hip to the world of health and nutrition, and I still saw something that caught my attention. So we had a business that was very big in Europe. And so for part of the year and a couple of weeks in the summer, I would rent a house in Italy, Tuscany specifically. And it was a farmhouse. It was off the beaten path. It wasn't in the city. My kids had to navigate the world with no English out there. It's just kind of funny, right? And there happened to be a fully functioning olive farm on the property that we rented. It was a farmhouse, very old farmhouse. It was 500 years old. Like in America, I was like, this house is way older than the country that I live in. But on the right is a picture of what olive oil looks like for the first few minutes of any press. So when you press olives at the fall, it's usually in that region, end of October, the first little bit of any press of extra virgin olive oil comes out that bright green. And when I first saw that, I said, non possibile. This is not possible. You've colored this with dye or you've done something to this. And they're like, no. Olive oil, when you first start pressing every harvest, it comes out that deep green pigmented color there. And what happens is you have to, first of all, that they keep those first few bottles and they prize it, but they strain olive oil so that they take all the fruit solids out of it. It's a fruit. Olive is a fruit. Actually, when we first started this adventure, we had is it a vegetable or a fruit? Am I growing on a tree? I'm not sure the rules. It's a fruit. And you press it and extra virgin olive oil, just so you know, because I grew up in an environment where it's like something is either virgin or it's not. It's a pretty distinct thing. Like, how could it be extra virgin? Well, olive oil, to get that title of extra virgin, has to be 100% olive oil, but it has to be picked early. It has to be picked very green, and it has to be picked, washed, and pressed within 12 hours. That's a pretty particular set of parameters. So this is the young man. This is the family that we rent the house from. This is their son. He didn't even speak English when I first met him. Now he's fully bilingual and actually got Canadian citizenship too. It's followed my mom's immigration path. And he's pouring me. I actually am filling my own cans just before I came back to the States. I would always buy a year's supply worth of olive oil, which I've already run out of now this year, but I can it myself right there. He's opening the top of the bin and it has a deep green color, not as green as the on the right, but even after you filter it out. Now, when I first came across this, my landlady said, here, and she poured me a small shot of that green substance on the right. And she said, we keep a few of these bottles frozen. You can't stabilize it because you can't put preservatives in it. And fruit putrefies if you leave it for more than a few, weeks, even 2 weeks. So this product that she had been kept in her freezer, and she brought it out because she says on a special occasion or two, we'll bring out this really green stuff. It's too bad it doesn't have shelf life. Also, this is the full court press, no pun intended, of olive nutrition. It's like the life force. It's the rough translation for what she said about it. So I immediately started thinking, we have a problem here. This is the problem. I think I actually put problem on this slide. The problem is that here in North America and most places around the world, including Italy, we have people that get very inventive about the way that they market olive oil. This is a product available just up the road at Trader Joe's I'm a fan of Trader Joe's, no disrespect. They get a lot of my money. However, they got a little religion defined here in the olive oil world. This is olive oil imported and packed in Italy, except you look at the back and it's like the number one ingredient is refined olive oil. The second ingredient is extra virgin olive oil, which means that's not the predominance in this. And then it says packed in Italy. But if you look at the bottom, produced in, see the ... Tunisia. Ha, marketers. They're awful human beings. So being a marketing guy, I decided to throw a counterpoint out into the world. OLIABO is the name of a new company that we are starting this fall in the next few weeks. And OLIABO is two words. Olia, which means oil in Italian, happens to include my daughter's name, Leah, and Botanica, which means botanicals. And we talk about how Italian purity meets American purpose. Italian purity, there is very, very little real estate on the planet that has the self-regulating quality control that Italy has. They have elevated foods. There are rules about food in Italy that will get you banned from society if you violate them. And yet, at the same time, they eat whatever they want. They eat meat. They eat butter. They have real pasta, real bread. They think that we are crazy in America and some of the dietary habits we have. I'll just give you a little impression of my cousin. I take her to the gas station, the Maverick, when she was here on a recent trip. And I find her standing in front of that one aisle that has all those drugs. So we got Benadryl and Tylenol PM and ibuprofen and cough syrup and Robitussin, et cetera, et cetera. And she says, I look over and I'm like, hey, que cos'è? Like, what are you doing? She's like, this is a motto. You have more drugs in your gas station than we have a pharmacy in Italia. And I was like, yeah, that's probably true. And she's like, your kids can buy this? I'm like, sure, you don't even need a driver's license. And she's like, you have a problem. And I'm like, we do have a problem. She's like, you know, all the countries are drug addicts. And I'm like, we kind of are. And you know what? I owned it. I was like, you're right. I never made that observation before. You go to a gas station in Italy, they sell you gas and coffee and a sandwich that looks like it was made by a gourmet chef and like a big thing of cheese, but no drugs, like none. And so this was the epiphany that we had. Here's our product now, OLIABO. We'll talk about this in a moment. Here's our brand space. We decided to, the world's been pretty gray the last few years with COVID and everything like that. And I like to talk about my mom's observation that in World War II, the whole world was pretty depressing and drab. And then the 1950s happened. World War II was over, and suddenly everything exploded into Technicolor, and everything was bright and optimistic. And so we decided to take that approach. Everything you see on these slides are a 100% work product of this little group right here, these people sitting around the table. And we decided to take this space in branding with OLIABO and add technology and modernize it. So you see the computer or the iPhones that they're holding. That wasn't a thing in the 1950s in Italy. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, OLIABO, the brand. We are starting something we're calling the olive standard of health. The olive standard of health. Well, we have olive oil. A few people are starting to figure out that extra virgin olive oil is important, but there's no standardization. There's a lot of rules with olive oil to get it right. And we're not getting anything. There's nothing like good olive oil. And in the United States, we have nothing like good olive oil, okay? That's a play on words. I just made it up in the moment. See that? Okay. As we all know, it's no surprise. One of history's most important botanicals. I will say this. The only way I can put this is that if you turn on CNN these days, you can see that all three Abrahamic religions agree on absolutely nothing, except one kind of thing. They all agree that the olive is a very important, almost sacred botanical out there. It is, in Italian culture, they have really three fruits that have been elevated to kind of a, I don't know, a point of reverence. One is the olive, two is the fig, and three is the grape. But in the hierarchy, olive is at the top. I was like, great place to start. Also, if we're going to do a renaissance, and I'm telling you right now, we use that word a lot. We are starting a renaissance. I am kind of sick and tired of the state of nutrition and the state of direct selling circa 2025. It has turned into something of a rather depressing state. And so I said, look, we're dealing with a big craptacular bucket of depressing garbage dumpster of suck right now. I think we need to put a splash of color into it. So that is what we are planning on doing. And what are we going to do? We're going to talk to some people that are a little bit good at educating folks like yourself. Curtis, this is your slide.
Let me jump in on this. So we talk a lot about an awareness gap. And anybody that's been in the direct selling industry, you've experienced the awareness gap. It's anytime there's a product or service that has a general awareness among the population, but the actual potential health benefits and opportunity that is actually available, or the knowledge base that's available, is way up higher than what the general populace is aware of. And olive oil is a prime example of that. So we're talking about olives and olive oil, but it's because we're taking you on a journey. The actual product componentry and the products that we're going to put forward, we'll show you in a little bit, but we're trying to help you fill your awareness gap a little bit by taking you through the olives, olive oil, and then we'll get into some deeper componentry. So, most people are aware that olives and olive oil is good for you, but in the last 10 to 20 years, the actual medical science about the different breakdown and componentry that's within high quality extra virgin olive oil and some other things that are even more than just a regular extra virgin olive oil are actually off the charts. But the general populace, 99.9% of people, aren't aware of that. But there's starting to be rumblings in the ether that there needs to be, that olive oil is more than what we are aware of. And we're going to then inject ourselves into that gap. And where the gap is, we're going to fill that gap with awareness, with opportunity financially, and our products that'll give people a simple way to get some really good health benefits out of these products into their lives. So we're going to help people and provide a lot of opportunity by filling that awareness gap. So we're taking on this journey. So we'll get into the product details soon, but bear with us.
Yep, amen. And this is something that you can't sorry we have to feed you with a fire hose in this first meeting, but it is something that's very important because the slide that we kick off where you see what we're doing, you kind of have to get a little awareness of the world around you. So we're fertilizing your brain a little bit. Here's a couple of reasons why this is beneficial. Did you know, like 3 tablespoons a day in Tuscany, by the way, it's completely appropriate and actually part of lifestyle to take a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil in the morning on an empty stomach, even pre-coffee. Let me tell you, nothing precedes coffee, usually in Italian culture, except for a tablespoon of olive oil, right? So 50 milliliters a day, which is 3 tablespoons, results in 30% lower risk of cardiovascular disease. That's not 3%, that's 30%. And this is simply extra virgin olive oil, okay? Mortality. I don't know any better way to say this, but 8 to 9% lower all-cause mortality. How do you say it other than less death? Joe.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah, man.
Ray kicked this off by saying, talking about the blue zones. And for anyone who's not aware of the blue zone, Ray mentions basically people that live the longest in the whole world. There's no secret that Italy happens to have a blue zone, and Greece as well. They both consume a large amount of olive oil. And these numbers here, and this will be significant as we continue to go through the conversation. You make note, this is extra virgin olive oil, and there's going to be a differentiation as we go through it. So note that these are amazing stats, remarkable stats. And then again, this is nothing different other than what they're doing here.
And these are all third party.
Yeah, New England Journal of Medicine. This isn't me and Joe and Ashley and Curtis. That's actually a link. Look at this, brain health. Okay, there's nothing wrong with caffeine, but that's not what we're talking about here. That's artificial stimulation of the central nervous system. This is brain health. Olive oil acts, I guess the only way I can put it is it's like a WD-40 for your brain. It lowers beta amyloid accumulation, which is a sticky protein that unfortunately is associated with some very unfortunate stats that we have in North America to do with adult onset dementia and Alzheimer's. If you look at these study dates, they're all in recent years. This is 2022, I think. It's like an eye chart from where I'm at. I'm the furthest one from the screen here. So this is very different than what we started with, which was cardio health. And look at this, anti-inflammatory. This is where our big moment of epiphany happened, is that Evo, or extra virgin olive oil, I'm going to give you some new words. HP Evo. high phenolic extra virgin olive oil. We didn't make the abbreviation. It exists in the world of health. But all the studies that they do are with extra virgin olive oil. So I don't know, who wants to take the ibuprofen discussion?
Let me say one thing real quick.
Yeah.
I'll be sending out an email. Some of you have been on the presentation before. I've sent out this information before, but anybody that's new, I'll send out an email after the presentation today so that you'll have some of these words, high phenolic extra virgin olive oil, and some of the other terminology that you'll be seeing here, so that then you can go do some of your own study up and deep dive, so you can fill your own awareness gap. So just know that that'll be coming.
Yeah, and somebody gave us the perfect compliment. They said, you guys just give us the buzzwords that you can go to Google or ChatGPT. This is a substance. Ashley, I'm throwing an audible. You want to take this one?
So, in when was it? 1995. There's a sensory chemist named Gary Beacom, and he went on a olive tasting in Sicily. And he's going through all the olive oils, tasting them, and he comes across one and he drinks it and he gets this burning sensation in the back of his throat. And he said, "Who put a ibuprofen in my olive oil?" And because it had the same effects as chewing up an ibuprofen or tasting an uncoated ibuprofen does in the back of your throat. And it turns out years later, he goes on to discover or create this word called oleocanthal, which similarly has the same effects as ibuprofen.
Yes, and you notice there's the words at the top, big 12-cylinder words like COX-1 and COX-2 inhibitors. This thing is a phytonutrient found exclusively, if you see that there, in olives. It is actually the polyphenol, the phytonutrient, responsible for a lot of the kick that olive oil has nutritionally. And what Ashley was describing in the corner, this is not my words, this is straight off of a study. The burning or stinging sensation, when you have a good extra virgin olive oil, it's like a peppery taste in the back of your throat. It's not on your tongue, it's in your throat. Italians actually describe it as 3-cough olive oil. You go, you get it in the back of your throat. Not so much when you're just having food, it's part of your food, but when you're taking it on an empty stomach, isolated that way, that has the same effect as ibuprofen. So let me jump into this. We have 2 partners in the EU that have exclusive IP on standardized extraction, one from the leaf of the olive, which has a lot of the phytonutrients that we're going to talk about, and also another entity that has IP on extraction of oleocanthals and phytonutrients from the fruit. There's the 2 parts of it, right? When you press an olive, you press the fruit, but you have some leaves in there as well. So yes, Curtis.
Yeah, so just kind of recapping a little bit. So extra virgin olive oil, high quality extra virgin olive oil has tremendous benefits. We're not getting great extra virgin olive oil in general in the United States or even globally, really. It's a whole racket. So, but then a level up from good quality extra virgin olive oil is HP extra virgin olive oil, high phenolic extra virgin olive oil. And now we're looking at some other componentry here, specialized extract from the leaf of the olive tree and a specialized extract from the olive fruit pulp that are high in some very specific polyphenols. And there's all these different really interesting components.
Let me see. So we have a slide, and I don't know where it disappeared to, but the takeaway is that, and this is very important, the takeaway is this, that an average Italian household, or average Italian individual they consume about 14 liters of extra virgin olive oil a year in their diet. A Greek is as much as 20 liters of extra virgin olive oil a year in their diet. In America, we have less than 1 liter of extra crappy olive oil as part of our diet. That's a problem. These are not my stats. I didn't make them up. They exist. And I am a pretty decent salesman, but I am under no impression that I'm able to take the average American and take him from 1 liter of crappy olive oil a year to 14 liters or 20 liters. However, we can do something like this. And Joe, you want to take this one?
Yeah, you bet. That one before, Gord, if you could go back to olivectin, Did you mention that it's our own?
No,
Okay.
that's a good thing.
This is a good point, because if you're gonna Google this or ChatGPT like olivectin, you're not gonna find it, because it's our word. And that's gonna be our proprietary blend of what Curtis was just saying, that extract from the leaf and the extract from the fruit, the olive fruit. And in our proprietary blend, which we are calling, and it's trademark, it's in the trademark world right now, called olivectin. And so that's going to be our way, as Gord was talking about, bringing us up. Because again, are we really going to go from 14, like up to 14 or 20 liters of olive oil per? But that's on average, by the way. There's going to be people who are consuming way more than that. But what we're going to do is bring this together with this high phenolic extra virgin olive oil, and bring it. And so, if you can jump ahead, Gord.
Yeah.
This is that first product that we're going to have called Prima, and it just means first in Italian. And we're going to make sure that we get the high phenolic extra virgin olive oil paired with the fruit extract and paired with the leaf extract. And let me tell you, everyone, this stuff is absolutely amazing. We behind the scenes here, we are geeking out every day, and it just keeps, the research keeps growing, the stories keep growing, and I mean, just from the leaf extract alone, the studies they're very robust. These are companies out of Europe, as Gordon mentioned, that have done studies on. One focuses just on the leaf. This is where their expertise is. One focuses on the fruit, and this is where their expertise is. And the studies from the leaf, for example, everything from cognitive health to anti-inflammation, anti-aging. I'm just reading straight from the studies right now. Antioxidant, anti-diabetic, gut health. Gut health is so huge. I don't know if you have that slide up there, Gord, but gut health. We don't have enough time to go into all of this, but just know gut health, there's a reason why it has grown in such amount, all these products around the gut, because the gut by experts are considered the second brain. And so it is so important that we get our gut health correct. And olive oil happens to be really good for gut health. And then you take that extract, the oloripine that was listed up there from the leaf just alone, phenomenal for gut health, cardiovascular health, antimicrobial, skincare. I mean, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. This is absolutely an amazing product. I cannot wait for people to try it.
Yeah, so as you can see here, it's a simple delivery mechanism. Gel caps, right? So gel caps, capsules, to make it really easy for people to get this componentry into their lives. So it's going to combine the HP Evo, high phenolic extra virgin olive oil, which is a step up from extra virgin olive oil, and the olivectin in one nice little package to make it very easy and consumable from just an opportunity standpoint, right? So great to
And very bitter, which is why we want to put it in a soft gel. Because when you concentrate the peppery burn on the back of your throat and the bitterness, you want to put this in a soft gel. And we colored the soft gel with green chlorophyll so that it's protected from light, but also it looks like an olive. And then we put it inside of a tin canister. That bottle doesn't look like it's been photoshopped. It's actually a tin canister, and it is done purposely. Olive oil comes in a tin or a darkly colored vessel if you have good quality olive oil, because it has photo degradation. So we're saying pressing wellness to a whole new standard. That's a double meaning.
How cool is that?
All right, but wait, there's more.
Love it.
It's one of those few botanicals also. My mother growing up, she would put olive oil. She used olive oil as her hand moisturizer. She'd use it on her face, on her arms. Just completely speaking informally, olive oil has anywhere between a 6 and a 10 SPF rating without doing anything. It's just pure olive oil, right? So here's the benefits transdermally: antimicrobial, hypoallergenic. It's the natural OG hypoallergenic substance, including has natural surfactants for the skin, reduces inflammation, antioxidant protection, skin barrier. So you think, well, guys, do you have a skincare product? Yes. Ashley, take it away.
I'm actually really excited about this. So this is Diesel Lux. And what we're targeting right here is fine lines and wrinkles and just hydration on your face. So at age 30, your body stops producing, it still produces a tiny bit, but it stops producing squalane. And the great thing about olives is squalane is derived from olives. It's also derived from shark liver. We're not using that one. We decided to go just natural on this. So what you do is you take this, you put it on your skin, and it helps the inflammation. It helps with the fine lines, the wrinkles, the creases, everything. It is so hydrating and such a beautiful sheen on your face too. And I want you guys to just feel it right now. It goes on so soft. Yeah. I know that you use it too, Joe. And it's just, oh man.
Actually, what are we putting in it? I'm leading the witness because we got folks on the line that might care about that point.
So one of the reasons that it goes on so nice and so soft is we're actually adding mangosteen seed oil along with a pericarp extract to kind of for the anti-inflammatory effects too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's a few people on the line that understand why that is significant, and that's in the extended dance mix of this. This is the AM radio version of the presentation, but there's going to be two other components to that. That was Viso Lux. We have a Viso cleanser and a Viso just means face in Italian, but this is where it all comes together. We have it. It will be available in the pack that we're calling Tre Viso, 3 Faces, which also happens to be my mom's hometown. Your mama.
So, Gord, for those who didn't understand it, at the beginning, Gord said, hey, I have an Italian mother, but you said it in Italian, so they may not have understood.
Okay.
It was kind of cool how it just kind of flowed out. So Gordon and I happen to have an Italian, for those who might be like, who are you guys? Yes, she was born in Treviso, northern Italy, just north of Venice. And it's actually called Treviso.
Yeah, it means 3 faces.
Pretty cool.
There was a statue that had 3 faces before it got bombed during World War II. But there was a statue of a dude protecting the town of the 3 roads coming in, and he had 3 faces, and Treviso is the name of the town. And so I thought it was good. So one last thing though, Ashley, you and Joe want to take this one?
So in the beginning, we were learning about oleocanthal and the great properties that it has, the anti-inflammatory properties. This is before we developed the pills or anything, and we're just learning all we can about olive oil. And I learned about oleocanthal, and I was thinking, okay, well, I take 6 ibuprofens a day because I have a herniated disc. I'm in immense pain all the time. How do I fix this? How much olive oil am I needing to drink for this? And it was like,
Too much.
Yeah, it was so much. No human can drink this amount of olive oil for what I wanted. And so I'm thinking, how do we localize this? And we did find a way that we get to put it directly onto our skin, rub it in, and it is such a good relief system for people who don't want to take ibuprofen, don't want the effects, the damage on your kidneys. And right now, honestly, I am down to 2 ibuprofens. Probably none soon with the new Prima coming out. This will help so many people, and I'm so excited for you guys to try it.
Thank you. By the way, Ashley is like, you can just see if the screen doesn't show it. I weigh 2 Ashley's plus, okay? So if you're taking 6 ibuprofen and your Ashley's size, that's a lot of pressure on your body's systems, right? So Joe I tell people Joe's the king of pain. He's always breaking something and whatever. So Joe.
Yeah, I want to add to this that also included in that is the mangosteen pericarp oil.
That's very true.
And so this is very targeted to anti-inflammation. And I'm using it currently, as Gordon led earlier, to understand that I tore my meniscus playing hockey. That's okay. It's actually coming along quite well. But one thing I've been doing with it is putting the different versions, because it just keeps getting better, Ashley. Every version you work with the manufacturer to get a little better. So I'm using it along the way. And also, for those who remember from a former life, I came out on stage once with a broken leg and a broken ankle. Now that was like 18 years ago. It's really kind of it's caught up on me a little bit, my ankle, and that's been bothering me a little bit this year. So I'm using this as well on it. And between that, and I'm fortunate enough to be kind of test marketing the different versions that are coming out of Prima as well, I feel like it's really making a big difference, and I'm seeing great progress, and I have no doubt that this is part of it. And I can't wait for you to try this product. absolutely incredible. And of course, in the led with the story of HP Evo, which is very, very important to make note that that is what we lead with this. But you add the mangosteen pericarp oil and the many other ingredients that Ashley's putting in this. In Italian, you say basta. It's done. It's over. It's
Basta punto.
basta punto.
Exclamation point.
Exactly.
It's really pretty remarkable. And I will say this, that when you have the ability to localize that, like, I don't know about any of you, age is just a number, but I do have a little bit of, not a little bit, I got quite a bit of arthritis in my thumb. I don't know what happened, but I put this like this twice a day, just like this while we're sitting in a meeting. Joe, can I lead the witness? You got something in front of you that is new as of 24 hours. We're testing production runs, and you want to show the camera?
It's pretty cool. We've got samples of our Prima that's coming together, working with the manufacturer to do what Curtis was talking about, bringing this olivectin together with the HP Evo. And let me tell you, love this stuff. Amazing. And it's just going to get better. That's all I'm going to leave. I'm going to hint on that.
Yeah.
It's just going to get better.
Let's talk about it. Let me show. I got to show you guys something. This is kind of important because in Italian culture, one of the things they do is that if something is worthwhile, and they use something called bella figura, which means that they're beautifully packaged. This pharmacy is in the middle of Florence. It's Santa Maria Novella, Firenze. The opening date was 1221. That's 1221 AD. Okay, so this is one of their original, like one of the formulas that's, I don't know, dates back to the 1500s. And they put this in these little bottles and as a seal over it, their seal of approval. Anything worthwhile in Italy that goes through standardization and testing has a seal. We are putting that on our products. If you notice that the mock-ups you saw in the previous slides have a seal over the packaging. So I pointed out there, I won't get into the minutia of what it means, but there's a fun story behind that as well. I will quickly get into this part of it. Subscription economy. We are selling products in about a 1 month supply because for a couple of reasons. Olive oil is something that doesn't have preservatives. It doesn't have the shelf life that some products have if you're adding preservatives to them. And we want to be very quick on our turns as far as that goes. Also makes something very easy to subscribe to for a month's supply. There are words in the past that some of you use, like auto ships and whatnot. The whole world has become a subscription economy. And I'll tell you, in our previous life, there was a world that existed where we said, here, this product will be shipped to you. And people go, no, I want to go to the store. I want to browse around and poke it with a stick. I'm telling you what, those people don't exist anymore. I clearly will avoid any having to chase things in a retail environment to the point where we have become addicted to delivery. This is not the case in Italy, by the way, guys. In American culture, though, if I come home and there isn't something sitting on my door like a box, I think that something's wrong, right? I usually get a box at least a day. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I quickly went through some of this because there is a world that existed in Curtis's world of affiliates, and there's a world that I come from of direct sellers. And one of the things that I pointed out is that affiliates have things that are very simple, but they dream small because they don't pay beyond one level. My old world of direct selling dreamed big, but sometimes kept things complicated. So we took both ideas and fused them together because the affiliates were saying, for the first time in history, we're losing people to network marketing companies because they take their people on trips. They train them and educate them. We got to start asking companies to step up. And I was like, why don't we just make a company that does it? So we like to tell the affiliates, this is something that's very unique about the way that we're compensating. It's a fusion.
I think it's interesting also, and Ray, thank you for leading to earlier where you talked about the blue zones. Yes, there are certain aspects of blue zones that are fairly standard across the board, and you're going to see that as you go through the European ones. Between Italy and Greece, and there's actually another one coming up in Italy too that's being formed right now. They're like, what are these guys doing? But one thing they all have is community. Every one of them around the world. Community is absolutely key. And that's something that's been lost. I mean, that just doesn't exist in the world of, it's kind of been lost, especially since, as Gordon mentioned, since COVID, we've kind of just come away from each other. We need to bring people together again. This is the human touch element of the world, that community is linked to longevity. And that's something that we in direct sales do really, really well. We bring people together. Where the world is kind of doing this, we're going to do this. And it allows us to have that community, and it is linked to better health and wellness just in general. So, sorry,
Absolutely.
and that's a great part of the reward trips, the calls, the everything, even here. We have like all these people on one, we're coming together.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, as you can see, right, we're not just talking about a Me Too product. We're not just throwing up some basic idea, but we're really focused on the total package. Earlier, the word Renaissance was mentioned. So if you think about it, the brand, the story, the imaging, the componentry that we're putting together, the simplicity of getting it into your lives, all of these things, along with when we're ready to show it, you'll see in the comp plan too, and the way that we can integrate affiliates fully. We're creating a total package here. We truly are. Our aim and goal is to drive a renaissance in the industry, and we're really excited to be leading this charge in this way.
It's true. These little dangerous devices that we all carry around are wonderful. They have more. This little iPhone has more processing power than my entire server room in 2002 when we started Zango. However, these little dangerous devices combined with something called COVID created a isolated, kind of distrustful, lonely environment in the world. And I think that we missed a big part of life through that process. So one of the things that we are doing is bringing a sense of community. Also, I don't know if you figured out, we are a little bit, we take things very seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously on purpose. I think there's an element of lightness and humor to this renaissance that the industry needs a colonic right now. It is kind of a little bit plugged up. I haven't seen anything really new in so long. And I do think that, unfortunately, direct selling companies are being started or managed by people that don't even like direct selling right now. And I see nutritional companies popping up where the people at the top don't even care about nutrition, which I think is a really bad business plan long term. It's actually bad business plan short term too. But so we're talking about our launch is including a system of doing business. It's a model that is a fusion of our old world of direct selling and the world of affiliate, bringing them together and the ability to make money. This sounds crazy in this day and age because direct selling companies have now become to the point where, hey, it's $300 and you get credit for 100 of those dollars on commissions. And we're going to do everything we can to squeeze blood out of the stone to make sure that nobody qualifies. And I was like, that's kind of crap. I don't know if there's a technical word for that, but I think crap is it. So we're going to decrapify some of that. This is interesting. In 2002, we launched a company called Zango, and it was a year after the 9/11 disaster that happened in America. If I'm being very honest, Americans, we lost a bit of the optimism that we had. I think there was a little bit of I don't know, our ego was a few quarts low in 2002. There hadn't been anything new in direct selling or nutritional supplements for several years. And we started to have success. And Joe stood on stage, and I actually, full disclosure, I'm the older brother. I a little bit mocked him and said, "That's so Tony Robbins stuff." Because he said, it's safe to dream again. But it became like a catchphrase. And so I quoting Joe to Joe in this pitch deck and saying, it's safe to dream again. It's 2025. The world has changed. We had to identify the things that needed to change, but the things that had to essentially never change. And that is I think the thing is the secret sauce for this little adventure we call OLIABO. And I'm going to point one thing out, and then I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of something that even the folks haven't seen prior to this. But in Italian culture, no self-respecting Italian gets through a lunch or dinner without raising a glass and saying salute once or twice, right? And every day in this office, we have a little adventure that you guys will be part of, because we're going to have a little kit, a demo kit that includes high phenolic extra virgin olive oil. So you can taste that little 3-cough experience that we talk about. And also you just understand why we want to encapsulate it. But I will show you something. Okay, this is my slide that's basically telling me I've gone too far. don't show any wet paint, okay? But we have a compensation program that we are launching that is so good. I'm trying to TM it. It's called Premio Pay. And it's the power of simplicity. There have been comp plans so complicated in the past that you basically need 3 days to explain them, and you're like, man, I just hope this thing's right because I don't want to explain it. This is extremely simple, but it's extremely powerful. And I like to use the analogy that it's somewhat like the statue of David. If you're in Florence, there's this beautiful statue that Michelangelo did in the Renaissance of the 1500s, and it is at the heart simple, based on a simple guy that seemed to be, best I can figure, buck naked, that went against a giant with nothing but a slingshot and a lot of moxie, and he took him down. And I was like, there's power in simplicity. There's power in something that is easy to explain, and affiliates can embrace it. Direct sellers can embrace it. I don't know if this is fashionable anymore. I don't hear it on the TV anymore, but I think it's incredibly apropos that if you right where the rubber meets the road and you embrace a new ideal and an early adopter, there should be fiscal rewards for that. And so we're not just building a company, we're building a brand, and we're building a movement. And you guys are so kind to be on this. And I don't know the best way to do this, but I think could we open this for questions? There's a lot of people in this line.
The easiest is if they want to post a question, they can post it in the Q&A at the bottom here. Somebody was asking if we could go back to the gel cap slide for a sec.
Yeah, gel cap slide. All right. Hold on a second.
So Jeffrey,
by the way, Jeffrey, I'm going back to the gel cap slide. I will tell you that label is, I have to constantly point this out. All of these, this is not the actual label. This is the mock-up for the presentation. Because somebody's like, is it 180 gel cap, 120 soft gels? And I was like, okay, that is what we call wet paint, which I don't like to usually show. However, there was a certain point where Ray's like, you can show the wet paint. These are big boys and girls. They understand. So yes, that slide, Jeffrey, this is what I think where form function. You have the beautiful way that olive oil is presented, generally speaking, light protected, but also I think it looks kind of cool. I don't see supplements in a tin container. But anyway, yes.
Couple questions. So David's wondering price point. We're still dialing that in on the price point of the products. We're finalizing the formulas for each of these products. We have other products that we haven't exposed to yet that we have lined up for the future. In general, we're not planning on having a massive hundreds of SKUs, but we do have some other products as well. So we're dialing in those formulations, and the price points will follow. But as Gordon kind of talked about, we're looking at having as close of a 1-to-1 ratio as possible regarding price points and PV. And so we should have more info on that soon.
Price points are going to fit into the realms of things that you're used to in the past, and I don't want to speak too soon, but it does beg the question. I'm going to point this out. I'm going to actually go so far as to say this. There is this that is going to follow our traditional structure, but most people on this call are probably cognizant. If I'm doing a decent job, if we did a decent job, you're going to want to go out and I got to get better olive oil. So we just educated people into trying to find a better quality olive oil, knowing full well that it's almost impossible to secure. I'm bringing olive oil in from Europe, as are many of the partners in this room. There will be a program that we will be offering a certified olive oil with a very simple incentive that you can talk to people about. Get free olive oil.
A couple things. So question about launch. So right now we've got a soft timeline that we're aiming towards, a launch rollout this fall. Fall's several months long, I understand that, but the general idea is that sometime, into September, we'll start having some teaser information coming out on the website. Perhaps towards the end of September, we would facilitate the ability to kind of get back office access to start doing some applications and some things that way. And then sometime probably in October, when we're confident that we're 30 days out from being able to ship product, we would open up pre-orders, and then end of October into November, full launch. Don't quote me on that. That's kind of our soft timeline, but we're moving fast. Things are coming together well, and that's what we're aiming towards.
Are your olives sourced from EU? Yes, this is
Excellent question.
This is a very good question. And as you study as you study olive and olive oil, you'll find that it comes from all over the world. But particularly, like when we're talking about olivectin, particularly, I want you to make note that's coming from Europe, Mediterranean, yes. And the greatest sources of
Mediterranean.
high phenolic extra virgin olive oil, yes, is coming from the EU.
So number of gel caps per bottle, we're not totally sure yet. It's either going to be, a 1 a day or a 2 a day. There's different form factors that we're looking at to finalize that formulation. So we're not totally dialed on that.
I should point something out too. This is the way the supplementation works. The average supplementation recommendation is based on historically 150-pound body frame. I am under no illusion that I need to take the same amount of things that Ashley does. Again, I am 2+ Ashleys. Not to remember, seems like the only way I can put it. If Ashley took the same amount of things that I took, it would be a very different experience. So it's going to be between 1 and 2 capsules a day is where we're coming in at. And animal friendly.
Depends on the fun.
No, the gel cap, soft gels is a world that does usually have a small amount of collagen, animal derived collagen. I wouldn't put it in a vegetable version. There is one. It would mean that we would have oily messes. That's my assumption at the moment.
And are there testimonials already? Yes, as a matter of fact, from some of these small samples that we've sent out from the Flex, I would say.
Yeah.
We haven't really been sending out the samples of the Prima yet, but I have zero doubt in my mind that we're going to get testimonials on this. They'll be remarkable, let's put it that way, because it's just the science is there, the studies are there, everything from, of course, the HP Evo that we'll be using, but then also the extracts. It's going to just be beautiful.
And you all know this. I mean, we're early on, so we're being a little bit more open with some of the things we're sharing, but we all are going to need to be very, those of us who join the journey, we need to be very dialed on what we're saying and how we're sharing these different things. But the great thing is that you can go and study and research a lot of these things on your own. Just do some Google searches or other things and find tons of third-party information. Any possibility of sampling the Prima? Right now, we've got just kind of our initial low R&D batches, so we don't have really a lot to be able to share around yet. But as soon as we do, we definitely plan on.
Yeah, that's a good.
Very shortly, very shortly.
I will just say, by the way, Ray's got his hand up. Oh, we're going through all the things. We should probably get Ray. But that is a good question, and we do plan to get them out as soon as possible so that we do get those stories back.
Ray, can you, is your mic on?
He can unmute it.
You have to unmute your mic, Ray.
Yeah.
He has 2.
About now.
There.
Yeah, I just wanted to consider something. Yeah, we can't make claims, but I think there's an excellent chance this could cure poverty. I'm just saying. We could say that, right?
For a soundbite that I thought was wonderful years past, he's like, I've been poor and I've been rich, and I would prefer to be rich. I like, that's the greatest way to put things. There is a beautiful, Ray, I'm going to let you riff on that one if you wanted to extend. I don't want to step on your words. I quoted you to you. That's not cool.
Well, look, I just want to take everybody back in time a little bit. I recall I was doing really well. I mean, exceptionally well with another company many years ago when Gordon called me. I remember exactly where I was. I could point my finger over there by my garage. I was standing out in my garage, probably admiring one of my cars, and Gordon called me. And Gordon, you were in Detroit, headed to Canada, correct? Gordon, hello?
He's on mute.
I don't know if you hear, Ray. They muted me. I was actually going the other way, Ray. I was going to Detroit, but I wasn't in Canada.
Okay. Yes. All right. Well, I had that part of it mixed up. But I recall when he called me and he said, I can't tell you very much. In fact, all I can do is tell you the name. And he said, Zango. I like the name Zango. I mean, I just thought, well, that's a kind of pretty cool. And of course, the rest was history. Folks, I just want to say this to all of you. If you weren't part of Zango, some of you were, and I know you got fond memories like I do. If it's important to you that you're treated with respect by people that really do understand the space of network marketing, and they'll treat you with the kind of respect that you deserve. They love the field, these guys. I mean, we've traveled the world together, been all over the world, all these beautiful trips. I can see all of that happening again. And, all these years later, I don't know where all of you have been. For the past 8 years, I mean, I've been knocking it out of the park for, most of my networking career, which is 40 years long. For 32 of those years, just literally knocking it out of the park. And without a doubt, took me from poverty to fortune. And ever since the Zango days, I don't know where you all are today, but for about the past 8 years, I've kind of been like Moses was, just wandering around in the desert, It's kind of that's the way it's been for me. I've tried to find a new home, and I've been mildly successful in a couple of places, but nothing like I'm accustomed to. No company really treated me like these guys. So I can't begin to tell you how big this future really is. And I don't want to sound, over evangelistic about it, but I mean, I know what's going to take place. This is an idea. We hear it all the time, an idea whose time has come. This product is an idea whose time has come. I've had several months to look into this. If you want to stay up all night, start reading about oleocanthal. I promise you won't be able to sleep when you see what the possibilities are. I mean, we have the possibility of taking a green cap, 1 or 2 a day, and tremendously benefiting our cardiovascular system, our GI tract, our brain. And Joe, you're right. I agree with you. There is no way, based on the science that I've looked at, and there's plenty of it. And by the way, this is not science of 100 years ago. Some of it's just last year, in the last few years. There is no way that people are going to not feel a whole lot better by taking this OLIABO Prima product every day. And of course, you see all these wrinkles, they're probably going to go away when Ashley sends me this new product here. I'm so excited to be here, and I hope all of you just don't discount it. Just hang in here with us.
Thank you, Ray.
This thing's really going to take off like a rocket ship. It's going to be bigger than Zango. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
And Zango was an awful big company.
Yeah.
It actually, Ray, it a little bit scares a couple of us in the room when we made that prediction, because to our advantage, though, the things that we had as governors in the fall of 2002 were the fact that the bottleneck was fax machines. We thought we were pretty bad, because we had 3 of them daisy chained together, which we expanded to like 10. But the natural governor
That
was
was the bee's knees back then.
we were the bomb, man. The fax machines. But these little devices make us able to process data. But that's the theory. Better. But the just in very quick order with no promotion. That is a single ad. We don't even have our website isn't live. It's in behind the scenes and beta. And the response has been overwhelming. I don't know. I used to joke and say at the beginning of Zango, we grew like a rabbit farm on a hormone diet. And I'm like, I don't know how to describe anything faster than that. However, I will suggest that this thing has the ability to grow faster. And there is a few things that are similar in from the fall of 2002. There were words that we had to learn as a group, words like xanthones and Garcinia mangustana. And these are not easy words. Oleocanthal is not like saying, like, I don't know, milk. It's not monosyllabic. Oleocanthal is a lot of words. And then so is high phenolic extra virgin olive oil, HP Evo. These are big things. But right now, the world doesn't know these words. But I will bet you my bottom dollar that in 1 year, there is an awareness that will be in America about the quality of olive oil that they are buying. And I will give you this analogy. There was a gentleman many years ago in America named Howard Schultz who had a business trip to Milan in the business that he was in. And he had a coffee at a coffee shop in Milan, and he said, "This is a life-changing cup of coffee. It's served properly with Bella Figura. It's served properly by somebody who actually knows what they're doing." And he's like, "What happened in America?" And he came back and he discovered that nobody cared in America about the quality of beans or the way that they were handled or roasted or brewed. And so he discovered that America was getting the brunt of what are known as Robusta beans, the crappiest, acidic, bitter, worst beans. Nobody was giving a crap about roasting them. And he's like, you need to get on the board with what they're doing in Italy with Arabica beans. And you need to give a crap about the way it's roasted and the way that, and he went from coffee being like, coffee was like a nickel When I was a little kid, this makes me sound old. When I was little, coffee was a nickel. It was literally a nickel. And I'll say to the math, I'm 58. Ray knows what I'm talking about. Coffee was free. When I was a little kid, you go to a gas station, it's just free coffee. And then Howard Schultz came along and said, you know what? If you give a crap about it, it's worth $5. And a lawyer dressed in a $500 pair of shoes and a $2,000 Brooks Brothers suit is standing next to a cop making $40,000 a year with the same $5 for a quality experience because it matters. And I'm telling you, in olive oil, the difference is that it will change the statistics to do with your life. And we've already had them in this room. We're not trying to make function structure claims, but everyone in the room is like, oh my gosh, it did this. And I'm like, well, we should believe the science, but science tells and stories sell. I'm sold on the fact that people are having these experiences as powerful as the science. So
There's a few other questions that
Ray, you're muted, by the way. So
oh yeah, Ray.
Yeah, guys, can you possibly open up the mic of Hernan Lawless and Dr. Jerry Shaw? These are people that they know what an opportunity looks like in this industry, probably at least as well as I do, maybe better. And I would appreciate their thoughts if they don't mind sharing.
I don't know how that happens, but Curtis is on it. Oh, there's Hernan is live.
Go ahead, Hernan.
Can you guys hear us?
Yes.
Perfect.
Can you see? You probably can't see. Anyway, I am so excited for what's coming. A renaissance in the industry. We're going to create something where we're going to bring back something that's been lost for many, many years. I'm so looking forward to building this company with you guys and creating an awareness worldwide about the potency of this fruit. We've had nothing but success with this. Everyone that we share a sample with has success. It's amazing. So,
You're
super
right
exciting.
on, Hernan. Believe the hype. There's a reason why it's the most promoted botanical in the history of humanity, guys. It is.
It's like,
We're taking it to another level.
right? We were talking the other day, it's like the greatest health story ever told that's never really been told. It's true. Bridge that awareness gap by telling that story. Sorry, did you have someone, was there?
Dr. Jerry's.
Okay, Dr. Jerry.
Yeah, guys, I can jump in on this. This takes me back to the origins of my health journey. And I've told this before when we first met, but I was a student in chiropractic school, and the realtor that took over the property that the whole house full of students was staying in stopped by. And he asked me about the house, the occupants, and I said, they're all students. And he said, well, what do you study? And I said, chiropractic. And he went, oh, wow. He said, I'm from Greece, and my family lived in Greece. And there's something that people understand about Greece and the Mediterranean people. He said, we revere olive oil, but the kind of olive oil you can't get here. And he said something really strange. I remember it to this day. And that was probably 35 years ago or more. Well, actually 45 years ago. Wow. Anyway, he said that in World War II, 1 million Greeks died because they couldn't get that special olive oil that kept them so healthy. And I thought to myself, that's really a strange thing to hear. I didn't even know that or even thought that was possible. Right on the heels of that, I started studying with a biochemist who actually treated people for health conditions that were severe and they'd been given up on by mainstream medicine. And key to his whole program was a special olive oil that he used as a part of it. And he emphasized you cannot just go buy the olive oil because you will not find you won't find the one that actually promotes your health. And so he had us order it. And that was that part. Another doctor that I studied with, he told a story about a child that was comatose, a young boy. And they weren't able to get results with feeding him intravenously. It just wasn't working somehow. And he recommended to the parents, if you massage a high quality extra virgin olive oil into this boy and onto his skin on a daily basis, he believed he would absorb the nutrients. And lo and behold, the boy recovered against all what the medical people were predicting that he wouldn't recover. And so those stories inspired me early on. And so I've always been kind of a student of high quality olive oil, and I know it's impossible to get in the store. And I know it is manipulated. I know it is diluted. I know that it's we don't understand that in North America. And that first pressing is so valuable with all the phytonutrients it carries. People just don't understand that. And if we can bring that out and potentize it, it will change lives. There's no question about it.
So
Love it, Dr.
Thanks
Terry.
so much, Dr. Terry. And then there's a few questions I want to answer real quick. And then just a reminder, for those who haven't already received the follow-up email from presentations in the past that some of you might have been on, I'll send one to you so you have some of the different information. We hope you've liked what you've heard, and we hope you'll join us on this journey. Let me knock out some of these questions. So we'll be importing things from Italy. It won't be shipped from Italy. We'll be importing it into the US, putting the componentry and the products together here so that we can then ship from the US.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
I want to jump in because I'm going to there's people that are going to ask this question in the future, so I'll answer it. We're starting in the United States, but we're working towards ideas on an up-for-resale program that can start very early on. What is early on yet? We don't have all the details
We have
yet.
someone outside the continent on this.
Yeah, we'll just kind of keep posted because I know that's on your mind and I'm sure that's going to be asked. So just know that we've got that in mind. Don't have answers yet, but we're working on that and it's coming together.
There's an interesting thing. We're all smirking around the table. It has nothing to do with anything other than there was a prediction made a few sentences ago that was like, this is going to be big. And right now it looks like there's going to be like storm coming because it suddenly went rumble, rumble, rumble. There's like I'm like, wow. Joe looked at me. He's like, that's crazy. So
A couple other questions here. So samples, there's a question from Joanne about samples. So people that have been on past presentations, we are sending out samples. We'll send out samples to everybody that either hasn't received them or those that are on this presentation. So in that email that I send out, there will be just a confirmation of your mailing address. But I want to note that we're making all those by hand right now because as we get into the manufacturing process, samples and other things will be manufactured by the manufacturer at a much larger scale. But I think we're going to start to kind of taper back after this group. The samples that we're doing is these kind of one-offs that we're having to do by hand, just because it's a bit of a tedious process for this team to undertake right now with all the other things we need to get in place so that we can get this company out.
it is an assembly line, but we are the assembly. Literally, I think properly we are the assembly line, right?
But we do have intentions to get everybody that's been on previous calls and on this call samples. So keep an eye out for that. We're putting together some of those this week, so they'll either start to ship out this week or next week. So stay tuned for that. But just know that we're not going to be able to continue that for future meetings, just because it's too much on this team right now until we get that into the manufacturer's hands. So Charlie, yeah, we're looking at different potential iPhone apps and what they may or may not be helpful for. Probably not something we're going to have out of the gate, but yeah, definitely looking at some different tools that might be helpful. And then last but not least, so we'll be doing additional calls moving forward and presentations. So if you're interested in having people on those future calls, whoever invited you to this call, just get with them and they can kind of help feed you over to me, and we can get NDAs in place for anybody that would like to join. Eventually we'll have it easier than that kind of more rudimentary process. But right now, yeah, whoever invited you to this call, talk with them and we can coordinate for the next one.
There was also a question on there about being halal, and hard to answer right now. The manufacturing facilities are halal. So, but to answer it more in depth, it's hard to say just yet. But but it is halalable, if that's the right word. I'm not sure.
So halalable is probably.
Yeah, there was specific about halal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, to be answered a little bit later, but the facilities are halal certified. I can say that.
You know, folks, thanks for being patient, by the way. I realize that this is what I keep referring to it as wet paint. I generally don't like selling somebody something unless it's 100% fully baked. But I do think that this adventure is worthwhile to get a small circle, which is expanding, of people that are in the loop. And it really very much involves a word of mouth campaign to be that authenticity that we kind of deserve to have in our industry. You guys, sometimes it's the simplest ideas that make the biggest difference. And I've always been brought up, and Joe and I did, have an Italian mom, the connection to nature, and the belief that health and food naturally intertwine. And I think that what we lack in sophistication at this particular date today, this will be the last meeting like this. It will never be like this one. Again, each one gets a little bit better and a little bit more progressed. And in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, this thing, you'll see this thing, the color being inserted in and the final touches, and whoo, doggy, you combine that with the kind of essential belief that everybody deserves to live up to their full potential in whatever business they choose to do. And this idea is a singular, simple, but I believe extraordinary idea. I'm gonna say I am 58. I've seen a lot in health and nutrition, and there's a part of me that it was like, it's an epiphany. We've been stumbling around trying to find the greatest botanical, and it's right there. And the science only in recent years validated what kind of people knew from the beginning, that this thing's the bomb. To quote my kids, the bomb. And so anyway, OLIABO Group is gonna be the OG. We're the original.
Ray, do you want to take us out?
Yeah, listen, everybody, thank you so much for your time. I know time is valuable. A good friend of ours that's no longer with us, Bob Schmidt. Everybody, most people on this call, or a lot of people on this call, will remember Bob. Bob said the number one product in the world is convenience. I believe that. The number one product in the world is convenience. And we're going to have the convenience of taking 1 or 2, looks like, gel caps a day to get the equivalent of what people in the blue zone are taking in their life. We got the magic bullet as far as I'm concerned. There's just no doubt about it. And we're here very early on. I want to encourage you, though, spend some time. There's nothing new under the sun. As Ecclesiastes says, you know, network marketing is built just this way. Make the list. You don't have to make 100 people on your list. Just put at least 25 people, your close contacts that you know. They like the health and wellness space. They want to remain healthy, and we all do. The whole world is just looking for natural shortcuts to better health. So make your list of 25 people that you know, that you have a center of influence with. Get a hold of them and tell them you just were exposed to a unique story, and see if you can get them interested, get them involved in the next Zoom that takes place. We'll load it up. Curtis, find you one that'll hold 500, because it's coming, brother.
I'm ready. This one can do it. We're there.
Okay. I appreciate you all so much, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I know we are. We're going to have some fun, make some money. Not only people are looking for natural shortcuts to better health, most of us want to earn some more money. We've got that here at OLIABO. I love the name. I love the idea. I love you guys, all of you, all 4 of you here. We're ready. We're ready. We could start tomorrow. We're ready.
Good time, say right.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, guys.
Thank you. Look for the email that I'll be sending out soon.
Yeah. Ciao.
All right, guys.
Ciao.
Thank you so much.
So you-
Recording